My plans are flawless, as will your skin be after you try our new moisturizing conditioner.
Tell me more, Joel.
For just $14.99 belly a week, you too can have perfect skin, and then the women will love you, and you can look as beautiful as Captain Kuro. This is the intro song to the podcast King of the What Now. Join us as we go on a journey, going to talk about pirates, battle and adventure. We think we're pretty funny. We hope you will too. Luffy, he's gotta be the king of something. We weren't really listening. Sorry about that. Hopefully he'll achieve his dreams. Yeah. Hello, fellow adventurers of the Grand Line, and welcome to episode 11 of King of the What Now. We're here to discuss the anime One Piece. I'm Joel, longtime fan.
And I'm Curtis, known newbie.
Absolutely. All right, episode 11 of our podcast is actually the 10th episode of the anime. I love how we numbered these things when we're watching the specials and all that good stuff.
It's just going to get better.
Yeah, the more episodes and specials come out, the more we're going to diverge. We just finished episode 10, as I said, which is called The Weirdest Guy Ever. I don't remember the subtitle, something about a guy named Jango, or Jango. I've always pronounced it Jango, but you pointed out as we were watching it that they pronounce it slightly different in canon.
Jango.
I think that's just his natural sexiness coming through in his... Okay. Curtis, can you succinctly summarize this episode? Do it in 6 sentences. The briefest of summaries.
All right.
That's 1. No, I'm kidding.
What?
That's 2.
Damn it. Sentence number 1. The butler, Klahadore, insults Usopp's dad, and Usopp gets mad about it.
Yes.
The gang leaves.
Okay.
Oh crap! I need more sentences.
You left out. Okay, so this was not the proper episode to spring the surprise on you. I apologize. The butler does not like pirates. He does not like Usopp specifically. He insults Usopp's dad. Usopp tries to be like, "Hey, you're being mean," and Kaya's like, "Claudor, stop! You're being a jerk." And then Usopp punches him really hard. He's like, "Oh, see, that proves my point. He's a bad guy."
Do you want to describe more of the episode, Joel?
I do not.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Because the whole point is that I know what's important from this episode, but you don't. So I'm trying to see what was interesting to you. You don't have to get every detail, but like, what was the big overarching like stuff that happened?
I didn't realize there was a larger meaning to us doing this.
Well, it's also because I like to talk, and so like if I summarize the episode, then you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, I'm gotten very good. Okay, back to the episode description. So yes. So we've gotten to the point now. They all leave the house. Usopp and Luffy leave the rest of the group. And we see the remaining people minus Onion sitting by a fence. And then Onion comes running back and says, "There's a really weird guy walking backwards." And then in comes Jango walking backwards. So we find out that Jango is a traveling hypnotist, quote unquote. And he shows off his abilities and puts the 3 kids plus himself to sleep. At this point, we cut over. We see Usopp and Luffy. They're up on a cliff. They are looking down. Well, I guess initially they talk about dad, or Usopp's dad. Mm-hmm. But anyways, they look down on the beach and they happen to see Klahadore and Jango down on the beach. And it turns out Klahadore is not Klahadore. Oh. He is Kuro. Captain Kuro of a pirate crew. And he has worked on a 3-year plan to take out this rich family and get the inheritance. So it turns out he showed up. The dad died of his own dyingness.
Yes.
And I don't know if he killed the mom or something, but now it's just him and the daughter. And his plan is to have Jango hypnotize the daughter, write her will, give all of her inheritance to Klahadore, which is Kuro, and then kill her so that he gets all the stuff.
Yes.
And then they're also going to kill everyone in the village because they're pirates.
Sure.
Luffy doesn't like this idea. So he immediately stands up and says, hey, don't do that horrible thing you're planning. And then they look up and like, oh, and then Jango hypnotizes him. Luffy falls down the cliff. And then Usopp's like, well, I'm going to go tell everybody. And then Kuro's like, well, you can do that, but no one's going to believe you because you're a known liar. So go ahead and tell everyone our plan. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if there's anything that I think that you missed. Jango hypnotizing himself is hilarious, and it happens both times, and Kuro makes a comment about, like, this keeps happening, so that's just a character trait of him. Always good to give your characters memorable traits. We find out that Kuro was the captain of the Black Cat Pirates, and he decided one day that he didn't want to be a pirate anymore. So he got the Marines to think that they'd captured Kuro, and this other person thought that he was Kuro. I don't know if they explicitly said that in this episode, but small spoilers, that's what happened. This guy literally thought he was Kuro, and they executed him, so there's no way that Kuro and Kalahador could be connected, even though one disappeared the same day the other one appeared, or that sort of thing.
I just want to point out that you said that it's good to give your characters, some memorable traits. And there's nothing else apparently memorable about Jango other than the fact that he hypnotizes himself. I mean, not the weird goatee of multicolors.
This is like the striped goatee, yes.
Yeah, not the heart glasses, the weird hat, any of that.
Okay, there's a lot about him, but he's the most extra person that we've seen in the show. So I would argue. What are your thoughts compared to other colorful characters? Do you think he has too many things? Does he stand out more than, say, Buggy as an example?
He does have more things than Buggy, I think.
Okay.
While the Buggy crew is literally more colorful, I think, than Jango is. Jango, like, overall has just so much stuff going on.
An individual, yes. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I commented to you during this episode is Jango asks, so you're going to wait till she writes you into the will? And he goes, there's absolutely no... Or Kuro. We need to stop using pronouns. We need to use names because it's hard for people to follow, I think. But Kuro said, well, there's no way she'd ever write me into the will. That's why you're going to hypnotize her. But the reason that he waited 3 years was so that it would be plausible that he would be written into the will. Also, he's going to kill everyone in the village, so who would be around to vouch that this relationship is built? I understand it's anime. Sometimes it's very hard to write a bulletproof plan for your characters. There's always like going to be something that's like, well, what about this situation? But it's a little weird.
Well, they could have like money in an off-island bank or something, and then you have to prove it and that you own it, right? I mean, there is a world government, so there's obviously more than just like island by island.
Could be. I don't know if I remember like a specific bank, but you're right that probably exists. This is like the sort of world that would have those kind of details. Okay. I think that just about covers everything else. Oh, I think I mentioned this, but just to be clear, we found out that Kuro's pirates are the Black Cat Pirates. Mm-hmm. Because when Alvida showed up, we had some discussion about like what was her pirate crew called, and I looked it up. It's the Alvida Pirates. That's actually there.
And good at naming.
Yes, and the Buggy Pirates are literally the Buggy Pirates. So this is the first time where we've had a captain whose crew was not simply the Kuro Pirates.
I mean, they're the Neko Kuro Pirates. So.
For our English listeners, Kuro is literally the word for black in Japanese, so his name is Captain Black, and then he's the leader of the Black Cat Pirates, which I can only assume means that every Halloween he dresses like a cat person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It would be obligatory.
Absolutely. You have to justify the name of the pirate crew at that point. Well, and also cats are supposed to be sly animals, but I'd say fox would probably make a little bit more sense for the kind of the cunning aspect that he wants to go for.
Yeah, I agree.
What did you think of the episode?
A lot of exhibition. I mean, not
exposition.
A lot of exposition. That is what I said the first time.
A lot of showing off and a lot of, ooh, look at me.
They were showing off with their words, Joel. Yeah, a lot of... What was the word again?
Exposition.
Exposition. Isn't that what I said the first time?
Exhibition. I think that's what I heard.
Right. No. I did say, man, I got them mixed up in my head still. Anyways, yes, there was a lot of talking, many words. So, I mean, it was a lot of information. It was good information that we need, but it made the episode, man, it's okay. Let's get to the fighting.
I agree. It was a little boring. I think it does establish Usopp as a character. He's in the opening, so we fought 3 guesses as to whether or not he'll be around for, more than a couple episodes. But he's very passionate about pirates, and he has this good view of what piracy is. So he's kind of one of those outliers that you're constantly talking about where you're like, well, pirates are bad guys. Well, Usopp thinks that pirates are good guys, and that's his perspective. We also get Usopp using like a grappling hook type thing to come down out of the tree to like, I don't know if it's technically rappelling at that point, but, so maybe he does something with gadgets. That's kind of interesting. I love the fact that Luffy immediately hates Clawhador the butler because he's talking bad about pirates, and like when he insults Usopp and Usopp punches him, he's like, see, you're a bad guy, and Carrot and Onion and them are like, you're a bad guy. Luffy in the background is also like, you're a bad guy, and it's just like they're already buddies.
Yeah, well, and it helps too that he knew Usopp's dad, right? So,
yes.
like, when he's insulting somebody that Luffy knew specifically, it's more than just like the pirate thing. He also like, I know that guy. He was a great guy.
I agree. I think with what we know about Luffy at this point, that if it had been a random pirate that he didn't know, he might have gotten mad for the pirate life being insulted, but he wouldn't have gotten as mad as he did. That's certainly true. So it was a lot of character building. It was kind of interesting, but I agree, overall kind of boring. Mm-hmm. I think you could make half of the episode be what we got, and then the other half could be more of the murder plot kind of mystery going on.
Yeah, like they could have definitely cut out some fluff. But I mean, learning the murder mystery was interesting. Mm-hmm. Murder mystery, the murder plot.
Sure, I think I called it murder mystery, so that's where you got it from.
So I mean, that's interesting. That's good information, and it's a little bit different than what I thought they were planning on. So
okay. Oh, and we actually found out that you were right about Clawhador being a good guy or a bad guy, and it turns out, yeah, he was a bad guy.
Obviously,
sure.
His name is Clawhador. His claw in it.
That is actually kind of interesting.
He's a black cat. His name was Clawhador.
I bet you Clawhador is also a pun. I'm not familiar with that one. I know Kuro, black cat, that sort of thing. All right, what do you think will happen next episode?
Probably the plan that they just outlined.
Yeah, but do you think that Zoro and Nami and Luffy will help? Do you think the 3 Usopp pirate kids are going to do something? Do you think they'll find an unlikely ally? That sort of situation.
Yeah, so I think the Straw Hat Pirates will help. Or Luffy, Zoro, and Nami will help. I think it'll start off, Usopp will try to tell the village. No one will believe him because he's constantly lying about pirates. And then the kids will probably still help. So will, the 3 main protagonists so far. And then stuff will happen.
Okay, absolutely. Now, Kuro was the man of 1,000 plans, and even at one point said something about, my plans are always flawless. So, keeping that in mind, what kind of a threat do you see him as? Do you think that he's actually capable of fighting himself? Most enemies that Luffy has faced have been capable fighters on their own, but he strikes me as a little bit more, I make the plans and then I hide behind the big guy sort of thing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he can probably fight a little bit, but he'll probably mostly rely on Jango. And
there's the Black Hat Pirates. Maybe the only reason that he's talking to Jango at this point is because he's the one with the special skills, but maybe there's like some big bodybuilder on his ship, like the muscle sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. The other pirates are going to show up too. So he was on a ship at the end of the episode, right?
Who was?
Kuro?
No, because he has to stay on the island and pretend to be the butler.
Oh, that's right. I thought there was a shot. Oh, it doesn't matter.
It showed the ship. There was a flashback of like he was the leader of the pirates, and it showed silhouettes of people with cat ears, and their eyes were glowing red to show that they're bad or whatever. But I don't think it showed Kuro on the ship with them. All these other questions are ones that we've agreed we'll ask at the end of each arc. Is there anything in this episode that you think will go unresolved during this current arc and might come back later? This used to be what do you think is foreshadowing, but I refuse to phrase it like that because you and I have a slightly different understanding of that question.
Well, there hasn't been like good foreshadowing yet. So, good foreshadowing. The crab.
Okay.
There's a shot in this episode that they use a lot just to visually fill out the episode, and it's just a crab trying to climb up this slope out of the water and then falling back down. And they use parts of that clip over and over and over. That crab is coming back.
It'll be hot in 400 episodes.
There will be crabs everywhere.
Prepare for crabageddon. There you go. Nailed it in one.
No, so I think things that'll come back, I believe, probably Usopp and what's the girl's name?
Nami? Oh, Kaya.
Kaya. Usopp and Kaya will probably come back because I don't see that getting resolved. And, spoiler alert, Usopp's going to go with Luffy. So obviously Kaya's going to still be back here or something. I mean, assuming she doesn't die. I don't know on that part. But assuming that she survives the whole ordeal, there'll be unresolved business there. So
yeah, sounds good. Do you think that this episode was filler?
it is not.
Okay. You say that with such certainty.
I am certain this is not filler because we learned about a murder plot.
I suppose that's true. Yes, absolutely. We agreed that the last episode wasn't filler, and this one, unless Jango is a filler character. And okay, perfect. You answered that one. Nailed it. Was not filler.
Yes, I got it right.
Okay. Okay, folks, that's just about it. As Curtis pointed out, there was a lot of exposition, and we kind of recapped that pretty summarily.
Actually, I pointed out there's a lot of exhibition, Joel.
Right. Anyways, this episode, there was a lot of talking, and summarizing it is just about the best that we can do. Maybe as we get further in the series, there'll be more interesting things to talk about. But for now, Luffy and Usopp seem to be becoming fast friends. They're bonding over their love of piracy. Kuro seems like a bad guy. Jango is very interesting, very colorful, and we'll just have to tune in to see what happens next. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Outro goes here. All right, folks, we've reached the end of this episode for today. It's sad to see you go, but fortunately we'll be here next week unless we get hit by a meteor. In the meantime, you can follow us on all sorts of different social media. We have Gmail, Patreon, Tumblr, all of those are King of the What Pod. So patreon.com/King of the What Pod, King of the What Pod at gmail.com, kingofthewhatpod.tumblr.com. That's all great. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that name's a little different. They restrict the length of your handles. So you can follow us on Twitter at Kotwin_pod. That's KOTWN_pod. Just take the name of the podcast and abbreviate it.
Also, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you're using to listen. That can be iTunes, Spotify, or whatever. Not only will this help others find the podcast, but your constructive feedback will help us improve the show as we go. We hope to grow and improve just like the Straw Hat Crew.
Thanks again for listening in. Be sure to check the feed next week for the latest episode of King of the What Now. Until then, follow your dreams and protect your treasure.
Remember, that doesn't need to be literal treasure.